Morning! Happy New Year! Can you believe this is the first time? Well, I think I did a little live last week, didn't I, when I was at Strategy Day, I think. I'm just going to check where I'm supposed to be because Jade's off making tea. I am. So I hope you've had a lovely Christmas and New Year. If you celebrate, I hope you've had lovely holidays. If you don't, if you're around, come and say hi. I know we've got quite a few new members this week and a couple of them messaged to see where to find me. So I will just give a couple of minutes to make sure everyone's on if they wanted to be. So if you're new here and you haven't seen this before, usually every Monday morning, I hop on about 9:30 and do a live with a pre-agreed topic. If there's topics you want me to talk about, just tell me, tell Jade, and we'll make sure we get those on. Morning, Anisha. I'm seeing you on Thursday. How fabulous is that? Unless you're about to cancel on me. Good morning, someone. So if you're new to StreamYard, Katie, hey up. Go and tell StreamYard your name. You know how to do that. Hang on, Jay's just wandering in with my tea. Let her in. She's crashing. Just letting her in. I haven't seen you for ages, Katie. Hope you've had a lovely Christmas, my darling. We've got to catch up. So yeah, if you've got topics you want me to talk about, yeah, just let us know and I'll get them scheduled in for you. You can always see what's coming up on the events tab. I'm working on a few new ways to keep you updated about what's going on this year, because this year is just mega. Like, I have so many plans. We've got loads of live events in. There's all sorts going on. So this morning, we're talking about accountancy and self-assessment, because you have to do your self-assessment in the next 2 weeks-ish if you haven't done it already. So if there were more live, I'd ask for a bit of a show of hands of who's done it. But I guess, Anisha and Katie, have you done your self-assessments yet? And there's a bit of an if not, why not thing that I've got going on here. Because the whole Parkinson's law thing is Parkinson's, isn't it? Where you have as much, you will stretch whatever task you've got to the amount of time it takes to fill it. No, God's sake, tell back. Where you will stretch the amount. No, my days. Where you will stretch the task that you've got to do into as much space as you've got to do it. So if you give yourself a short deadline, you will do things on a short deadline. If you've got something to do that's miles away, you will just wait and think you have time, and you will still leave it to the last minute. And that's what I'm talking about here. So self-assessment, most people are leaving it till January. And Anisha, that's very, very stressful. Katie, you've done yours. Cracking job. Well done. And there's just no need for it to be stressful. So there's a big difference between your accountancy if you're a limited company or if you're a sole trader. A limited company, basically get an accountant. You'll need them for lots and lots of things. They can save you a heck of a lot of money. And the way making tax digital is coming in, they're just dead useful. If you're self-employed, however, it is really easy to do it yourself. But I know not lots of you buy into that. Now, Jay's just compiling the list of new courses that I need to create, and self-assessment and stuff is one of them. So I'm going to have a little look at how I can almost walk through a self-assessment as part of Business Club if you want that, because it really, really is easy. We make it feel much harder than it is. And often we do that because we don't know how to do it. So if we don't know how to do something, we assume it's hard rather than recognizing you could just figure it out. So in terms of accountancy, I guess, when you're looking after your own books and your bookkeeping, so it's that idea that bookkeeping and accountancy are kind of, they're different things. Bookkeeping is the tracking, the keeping records of your payments, the recording and reporting of your financial information. And accountancy is like the analyzing it, so that you know where you are, so that you understand how your business is doing. So bookkeeping is generally what most people mean when they talk about accountancy. Generally, they mean bookkeeping. So bookkeeping is as easy as you want it to be to do. So when I very first started in business, I used an Excel spreadsheet, and that served me for at least 5 or 6 years or 7 years. Only this time last year, maybe just a bit before, when I split my old company into my new company, did I start using specific software, and that software is amazing and I highly recommend it, but you have to pay for it. So if you are at the early stages of your business, get an Excel spreadsheet. Basically all we're doing, in fact, I did have one. I'm writing this down. Jade, I had an Excel spreadsheet from Crown Enterprise that like split it out for you, almost a template that we can use. So I'll see if I can find that and share it in the group. But basically all you're recording in your spreadsheet is one spreadsheet for your expenditure. So generally the date, what it's for, and then I used to have almost a column that I put the cost in so I could figure out if it was spent on travel or stationery usually, whatever it was for my business. But that's more so that I can track what categories they are. You don't even need to track the categories for self-assessment. So we'll talk about bookkeeping. An Excel spreadsheet will do you fine, and it really will. If you want to go a step further back than that, like my sister over there, who I'm glaring at and is hiding in that corner, write it down. I mean, so much depends what kind of business you run, how much you've got coming in and out, and how easy you want to make it for yourself long term. So Jade sells pre-loved ladies fashion. She literally writes it down in a freaking book and adds it up. And for bookkeeping purposes, that is fine. All you need to know when you get to your self-assessment is almost what you took and what you spent. Basically, that is really all that you need to know. You might need to declare other income, etc. But in a nutshell, that's it. And we make this really, really complicated. So write it down. Next step, get a spreadsheet. Next step, use accounting software. Now, I've used different types of accounting software. There's a couple of free ones. There's one called Wave that's free, where you import your own bank statements and you can track it digitally. There are a couple that are paid for, so things like Xero or QuickBooks. I love Xero. It's changed my whole business now, but I get it as part of my accountancy package from my accountant. So I don't pay specifically for that, but I pay her. So it's definitely a cost in your business, but it allows you to understand what and where you're spending. I really struggled with QuickBooks, Katie. Xero, I create my categories. You can make your own up. I have categories for all sorts of things, but I really struggled with QuickBooks. I don't know why. I didn't find it user friendly for me, but I adore Xero. So I can advise on Xero hugely, but yeah, I didn't like QuickBooks. Wave was fine for a free one, but not at all as detailed as Xero is. So kind of as you step up the ladder of getting used to your finances, I think the biggest thing that I can talk about today is this idea that you need to not hide from your finances. You need to know if your business is viable. It's Xero spelled with an X, Katie, just so you know. Hang on, I'll put it in the comments. Yeah, that might just come up on YouTube, actually. I have no idea. Xero spelled Xero. The biggest thing I want to talk about is like not being scared of your money. So if you're running a hobby business that you're trying to make into an actual business that makes money, you have to know where you're hemorrhaging money, where you're spending money. There are certain people that I'm thinking of that I would call out, and I would call out if we were face-to-face, but I'll not do it on here, who want to transition from hobby to actual business, but they are kidding themselves about the money that they're spending, the time that they're spending. And until you start taking your business seriously as a money-making entity, it's really hard to shift. And you can't do that if you don't know what your costs are, if you don't know how much stock you have hiding at home that is valuable, that is worth money. So as a small business owner, let's stop being scared of our stuff. And if we need to have a bit of an accountable place to come and work it out, come in the group and let's help each other work it out. So anyway, that's my little lecture. Don't be scared of your money. If you don't know what your money is, if you don't know what you've got coming in, if you don't know what you've got sat on your desk right now that is valuable, then you're still behaving like this is a hobby business. I can tell you like what I've got in. Jackie, my darling girl, that will be you. But I would never have shouted you out. But yes, you have no idea like what everything costs you to make. So you don't know if it's worth making it and selling it, but that is stuff we can completely work on. Do you need to do a self-assessment? Have you done yours yet, out of interest? So yeah, stop hiding from your money. Don't be scared of your money. Get it out in a way that suits you. So if you haven't done it and you've got a self-assessment coming up, we've got to start from the beginning. So you need to go all the way back to last April, and not last April, but April before, and start logging down, going through your bank statements, checking out what you've spent versus what you've earned. If you know you're well under the tax threshold, don't get your knickers in a twist about it. If you've missed off a couple of bits, but you are under the tax threshold, don't kill yourself trying to find this stuff, which sounds horrific. It's that line you're going to walk in running a business between knowing every penny, which is where you will get to, versus at the beginning where you've got stuff everywhere. It's in and out of different accounts. It's far more important that you get something down that is legitimately close to where you're at. So get your stuff down, keep records of every payment. So these are my tips on bookkeeping. Keep records of every single payment. It might be just through your bank, but if you can get used to logging them somewhere separately, dead easy. Choose an accounting method. So pick how you're going to do it. If you're going to change at the start of the new tax year, because it's so much easier to start fresh there than to try and undo everything that you've done. Be really, really strict with your deadlines. So this is not just yours. I've seen your comment, Katie, I'll come on to it. This is not just yours, but the deadlines you give your clients to pay you, or your customers to pay you, deposits that you might take. Start getting really strict with money, as in, this is the thing that my business is built around. Chasing money is awful. I do it frequently. There are a couple of my wonderful clients who I always have to chase. I know they're going to pay, but I always have to chase them. It's stressful and it's annoying, but get your kind of boundaries up. Make sure your payments can be on time to HMRC, because you don't want to start getting into having to pay fines. Know which of your clients are worth it and which aren't. If you constantly have ones that chase and make you feel stressed about it, you can start moving towards that. But basically, we're looking at your credit control and keeping your cash flow healthy, making sure it's all coming in. Keep track of your expenses. So you can claim back tax from a lot of your business expenses. A lot of this can be offset against, like, paying tax later. So just make sure you keep them and keep your receipts somewhere. My receipts are in a shoebox that I never look at again, but I know what year they're from. And I've logged them through my accounts, but they're not attached to like a page in a nice order. They're shoved in a shoebox, and I'm all right with that because my accounts are there. But if HMRC wants something, I can find it easily enough. File your bank statements in order. Just make your life easy. Most of us don't even get printed out bank statements now, and if you're using software, you won't need them. It reads it from your bank account. It's awesome. But all I'm talking about with this is get yourself some sort of organization system so that it's easy to do, which leads us on to Katie's question. Tracking's difficult, but going onto the HMRC website, filling it in is intimidating. That's all your accountant does for you. If that's enough for that to be a worthwhile job for you, then that's fine. We did Jade's a few months ago, and yeah, it asks you questions that are so not applicable, but you start wondering if they are applicable. Should I be filling this in? And basically, a lot of the time on the self-assessment, there's about 4 boxes that you realistically need to fill in.
Yeah, they make it sound a lot harder.
Jade's saying, yeah, they make it sound a lot harder. Like, we sat next to each other on our settee, actually, because I think I'd got an ill kid or something. And we did Jade's tax return, but looking through the stuff they take you through, yeah, mad. Most of it you don't need, but that idea of not knowing what you don't need, that's the scary part. But again, you can use groups like this. You can send screenshots in here of, do I need to do that thing? Like, cover up your financials, but you can ask for help in places like this. But I will look if I can get on the HMRC website and go through what a basic self-employed person is likely to need to fill in and what figures actually go in there. So I will look. I might even do that today, Jade.
Oh, I wasn't listening, sorry. What?
Going through HMRC website and actually seeing if I can screen share, and I might have to edit after, but see if I can screen share and show you what actually needs to go in here. But yeah, if you've got an accountant that just, you take your bookkeeping to them and ask them to fill it in, that's perfectly fine. And lots of them still won't charge you very much to do that as a service, because for them, if they've got the figures, for them, it's so easy. They're just inputting it because they know exactly where it's going. So yeah. Know when your business is sort of starting to scale, it's knowing when to outsource your bookkeeping. when you decide it's not worth my time to spend filling in this Excel sheet, so I either need to upgrade to some software that does it for me and gives me that time back, or I pay someone else to do this for me. And that's this beautiful bit about running a business, is knowing where your lines are, that you switch, that is, you decide my time. I could be doing something else to bring more money in, but I'm spending my time doing stuff that's not bringing money in. And it's figuring out at what point you get a Jade, at what point you get someone in to do some of the stuff that frees you up to go out and get some money. So in terms of accountancy and bookkeeping, that's like a really, really important part. And then this idea of knowing your accounts, that's where it switches it from bookkeeping almost into accountancy. So knowing like what your balance sheet looks like. For most people, they're like, I don't know what that means. Your cash flow statement. And again, stuff like that sounds really scary. Basically, it means, can I look ahead and know for February what money I've got coming in and what money is going out for sure? Almost guaranteed. Like there are times that will shift, but generally, have I got any way of knowing what my cash flow looks like? What have I already invoiced for that hasn't come in yet? What money am I sat waiting on? What do I know is going out? So if I've got like website hosting or something to pay for that I do regularly, that I already know is going out, and accountancy becomes part of understanding the reports that you need to run, or you need to have an idea of, to start running your business like efficiently and effectively. So this links in beautifully with Profit First that I talk about all of the time, is when you have income coming into your business, are you using it in a strategic way to pay yourself, to create profit in your business? So I've talked lots about Profit First as a concept, and it's this idea that whenever you get any money into your business, splitting it up. So immediately I take X% and put it in a wages pot. I take X% and put it in a tax pot. So I know when my tax comes around, it's all like siphoned away there. I put some in profit. I might occasionally create some little spaces for things like, if I know my big website hosting is due, because I'll usually do a couple of years package, etc., then I might put that money away that I know is going to be sort of siphoned away there. If I know I've got dividends to pay and they come out of profits, but I'll still try and sort of siphon them off to the side, and then I'll try and run my business from a really small operating profit, which means I know that if I did no work for the next maybe 6-10 months now, I've got wages already backed up for that. And when I get to the end of the year, I can pay those as a lump sum as dividends if I choose to do that. But you can't do any of this stuff without knowing your money, without having a handle on your accountancy, and without understanding what your money's almost for. As in, as in what comes in as income, where does that need feeding off to now? VAT in particular should be set aside because it's not your money. Yep, thanks, Amy. Lots of the women in here won't be VAT registered yet. I'm still not. I think this will be the year where I have to be. But yes, completely true. VAT is not your money. Your customers paid it for you to pay on. Really important. But I don't think that'll apply to most of the women in here. Certainly not all of them. And again, VAT registration is a whole topic on its own, and a big one. But yep, it's not your money. You're right. Can you tell StreamYard your name just for future, if you know how to do it? There's some text above this video. If you click it, you can tell StreamYard your name. Find someone. So if you're in a position to get an accountant, ask for recommendations. So my first 5 years in business, I had accountants who did their job perfectly well, but never spoke to me. There are certain things an accountant can do for you that you just don't know about. So for example, as a limited company, which I am, if I pay myself a certain amount, I stay below the NI contribution level, which means my NI is paid in a really different way. I can't really explain that in any better way, but then I can make up my wages with dividends. There are really clever things that a good accountant can do. So at the end of the year, when I'm trying to get money out of my business in the best way I can without paying double tax, there are certain things that an accountant can do for you that tells you, like, so I could have a Christmas do this year. So me and Jade went to the spa, and that's all perfectly legitimate within, for tax purposes. So I could spend money on a Christmas do for me and Jade, and that's what we chose to do. But a really good accountant can save you money in the long term. My accountant now did such a cracking job swapping my businesses. So I closed one limited and opened another, and saved me a fortune in tax. And a good accountant can do that when you're at that stage. So I think the big outcome here is to know what stage you're at. So for people like Jackie, know what stage you're at, but I need you to start costing up what things cost you, like what it costs you to make a mug, a water bottle, whatever it is, what it actually costs you in materials, and then we'll add time and energy and stuff on top of that. But what it costs you in materials, and start charging accordingly, first of all. Tracking what you're spending and what's coming in is the biggest part of all of this. If you track that well, everything else is doable. If you haven't tracked it, that's when it's time to do your accounts, and you have to go back over, and it's over a year ago, and you have to remember what the hell that payment was for. Like, there's no way. I've been stung with that every year till the last year, basically. So get on top of it. So if you're doing your self-assessment now, do this year's too. So the one you need to pay for now is like well over a year ago. Get this year up to date. Decide at this point, if I'm doing my accounts, I'll just get this year up to date. And then you've only got a couple more months to do. You've only got to do it till end of March, beginning of April. And then you can submit it at any point between April and January. You don't have to wait till January. You might choose not to pay till January, and that's a very separate thing if there's anything to pay. But for lots of you, there won't even be anything to pay. So it's just this is holding over my head, and I'm thinking about it a lot. Okay, so that's where we're at with accountancy and bookkeeping. If you actually need help, please shout up, please shout in the group. Don't just ignore it. Don't turn a blind eye to it, because you will get fined if you don't do yours by the end of Jan. So make sure you are doing it. If you're scared about it, just schedule some time and have a look at it. Often we build ourselves up into things that aren't things. We build ourselves up, so we put it off. And let's decide that today, this Monday, we're going to face it head on, and we're going to go and get our stuff done for self-assessment. Yeah? Any questions?
I've got a quick question.
Oh, Jade's got a question. Yes.
Somebody asked me the other day and I wasn't sure. If you start a business part-way through that last tax year,
Yeah.
do you still have to do your books now, or is that the next January?
So Jade just asked me, if someone, I don't know if you can hear it, if you start a business this year, do you have to do your books now? Or is that for next year? So this 31st of January deadline is, so no is the answer,
Okay.
is the tax year. God, this is so painful. From that ended last March, I think. Gosh, do you know when you confuse yourself? So I know this perfectly well. So the people that are paying their tax now is for the 21 to 22 tax year. Yes. So anything up to March, well, the beginning of April 2022 is what is being submitted now. Please correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm not wrong, I don't think. So if you started your business in April 2022 or after, this is not your self-assessment time. Does that make sense, Jade?
Yes.
Yes. I am going to triple check that now, but I know that's right, but you start questioning yourself.
I couldn't work it out in my head.
Yeah. It's almost like a year after you have to do it. It's not a full year, but it's a long flipping time. It's very confusing. So imagine now I'm asking you to say, in April 2021, what did you spend this money on? Like, how on earth are you supposed to remember that from nearly 2 years ago? So keeping it up to date and doing it as you go along it's just so helpful. And there's also this other law that comes into effect that I talked about on one of my live trainings the other day. I can't remember who it was with, where we talk about, so if you did your accounting every week, it might take you 10 minutes every week. Okay. So say in a month, that took you 40 minutes. But if you don't do it every week, but you do it once a month, it might take you an hour, because by the time you have to go and look back and find stuff to compare it to, it takes longer when you're not doing it regularly. Does that make sense? So if you wait a year and it took you 60 minutes a month, that's not the same as whatever 60 times 12 is. It will end up taking you even longer than that because of the way our brain has to go so far back to remember things, to find things, to look for receipts that you've lost. But if you can get into a habit of doing it on a Monday morning every single week, it's likely to be a 10-minute or less job that doesn't build up. It removes the stress. It removes the extra time that it would take if you do it less often. It's just sensible. And when you start running your business efficiently, we talk about when you're running, sorry, I just saw a comment and got distracted. When you're running your business efficiently, I will talk to you loads about batching your tasks. So on a Monday, there are these things that me and Jade do every single Monday. And then I'm off on Tuesday. On a Wednesday, there are certain things that I do every single Wednesday. And being able to work like that just helps you be so efficient. And it never leaves anything to that big dread and that big pile up and that panic of, I don't know how to do this now because it's too big a job. Doing lots of little jobs is so much easier than doing big jobs. Next to a question. So this is kind of different. So when you register as self-employed, that's not the same as doing your tax return. So if you are earning, I think it's over £1,000, I'm sure it's over £1,000. If you're earning over £1,000 a year, you need to do a tax return, whether you've declared as self-employed or not. So these are different things. So even though you'll do a tax return and have to pay no tax, I think I'm right in this. Again, I will double check. I'm sure it's over £1,000 a year. So that's like there so that you can do car boots or you can sell a few things online, but you're not technically making any money. As soon as you're making over that, they're counting that as your earning money. So from that point, you need to do a self-assessment and a tax return. Registering as a business, registering as self-employed is almost a separate topic. You can do that at any point, and I think you can, but again, I will check this for you, Jackie. I think you can sort of say the date that you became self-employed, and you can register it back from there. So yes, you can choose your date, but when you're doing your tax return, if you earn over £1,000, you can include all of this stuff anyway. But I will check the idea of when you register self-employed, what the deal is around that, if you can go backwards. Because I'm sure you can, especially providing it's within the same tax year. Because this self-assessment that's happening now is almost irrelevant to you. You're looking at your tax year ends in April, or whatever date the first Sunday in April is the end of the year. So they're almost two separate things. But yeah, anything that you are earning, if you earn over £1,000, if you don't have to declare it. That is entirely up to you how you want to play that. But I will double check my facts on that because it's all right me saying you don't have to declare it. Don't sue me. I'll check about that. But I'm positive you're allowed to earn £1,000 before you have to register to do a tax return, to do a self-assessment. Does that help? But yes, if you're starting your business, you can include everything that you bought in this last tax year, basically, if you're going to do your tax return up to the end of March. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, any other questions? Please put them in the group. I get lots of you still that message me directly, and it's lovely and I love it. But often your questions can help other people. So it's really helpful if you put in the group, because that's what I've built it for, is this community of women that want to help each other and that can. I wouldn't have even thought about bringing up VAT if Amy hadn't spoken about it, because it's not within my realm of what I think about. I wouldn't have even thought about talking about it if Amy hadn't said. So please do bring your questions to the group and we can all help each other. Okay, so if you want to know anything else, like I said, drop me a message, put it on here. Let me know if you watched on replay. I am back next Monday, I think. Yes, I have no idea what I'm doing because I can't remember. I'll see if I can find out, or see if Jade can find out. What am I talking about next week, Jade? And then if you're local to me, I'm teaching a course at Lounge the Green on Wednesday about building a free website. If you've got a website, don't come. You will already have a better website, but this is very much, if you are starting from scratch and you need something to set yourself up, this is a really good way to do that.
Instagram versus Facebook.
Oh, next week I'm talking about Instagram versus Facebook. Clearly that's a requested topic because I don't know what I'm talking about yet. So I must have some notes for that. I guess it must be something someone's asked me to talk about. Morning, Moo. It's lovely to see you. Are you all right, my darling? So I'm at Lounge the Green on Wednesday if you want anything. If you want some more business stuff, in fact, I wonder if I can show you this. This is a nice little treat on the end of today. Let me see if I can screen share this. So if you haven't seen this yet, I can share this. Let me see. Do I have to click present? Share screen. Share screen. Maybe. Content library. Oh, can you see that? Let me go back. Yes. So if you haven't seen this yet, I've finally created Business Club. So Business Club is my online membership where I share loads of training videos, loads of courses. There's live stuff that you can come to. But basically, yeah, so it's an online place where you can go. I've split stuff into 6 categories for now. We'll see as it grows. But for example, you can click on the skills category. So skills is very much mindset and stuff like that. And there are courses within there that you can do. There are downloadables. There's a load of my Facebook Lives. There's some older masterclasses that I recorded in my old business that I've checked that are all still really valid. There's my stage talk from Manifest in there. But within each category, and these are growing, I've just added a load of email ones. There are courses within each area that cover some stuff off. On top of that, you'll get to see what I'm doing each month. So what's on in January. So we're here now, where you can come and see me live. I've got some more online stuff to add into this one, but how you can come and find me, you can subscribe to the Google Calendar so you know what's going on there. There's discounts on things like my strategy day. So the next one's on the 24th of April. You get £50 off by being a Filter Free Business Club member. So, yep. And then we have online meets as well. So I think, yeah, hang on. The email marketing one, I've just added that in. And there's a load more to come on. So within this one, for example, yep, there's lots of different courses or lots of different trying to load a video, but when I'm on a video, it's really hard. It's not good advertising, is it? I'm doing it fine. What's up with this one? I'll go check that one out, but the others are all working. Yeah, weird. So yeah, within here, there's loads of online stuff that you can access, and then you get direct link into me. I can't remember what my point was about this. Oh yeah, so I'm coming to do lots more live things around, and there will be a lot more live events for people that are part of Business Club. But if you feel like you need some business help, you don't want to commit to coaching, you don't want anything too heavy, Business Club is a great place to start. It's 20 quid a month and you've got no commitment. You can cancel and leave whenever you want. There's also a really cool bit where you can, I didn't show you this, hang on, where you can like mark your own content. So if you've got favorite classes, you can favorite them and come back to them really easily. Yeah, it's a dead cool little place. I'm dead proud of it. And there's loads more coming into that, because that's my proper focus this year, of how I can help as many women as I can, like in a reasonable way, because I can't work with everyone and I want to. And so anyway, that's that. There was a point to me to talk about this, but now I can't remember what my train of thought was. Don't know. But I'll be talking about Business Club a lot more going forward. All right. Have a lovely, lovely week. Me and Jade finally get to sit down and plan now, because I haven't been in a room with Jade, in an office with Jade, since the beginning of December, because we had a networking day just before Christmas. Then I had 3 weeks off. Then we had strategy day last Monday, which was amazing. So this is our first day back. So I've got to catch her up on all my crazy ass plans for this year. And there are lots of them. All right. If you want anything, as always, drop me a message, and have a great week. And I will see you all soon. I'll see lots of you on Wednesday, I hope. But if not, definitely the week after. All right, ladies, have a great week.